Good morning, Cyril. So what's the mood for this year's National Day?
Well, very firm, as you said, and martial speech, very expected due to the high tensions between Taiwan, as we have been experiencing in the past month with Taiwan and Beijing. To go a bit deeper from central Taipei, where we are now, let's be joined by William Han. William, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. You are a writer based in Taipei. So, William, what is your assessment on the presidential speech, which just happened a few dozen meters from where we are?
Right. I thought it was overall a good speech. It projects the sort of dignified image of a democracy that you want to see from a democratic leader. It is very martial, like you said in your intro. In fact, the theme of today's festivities is essentially defend our country. That's essentially the slogan. And her speech marries two themes. One, the resiliency of Taiwan, and second, that we are prepared to defend ourselves. But it does leave me with some concerns that I think even by the end of the speech, I don't feel she completely satisfied me, in that we are, like you said, we are in a difficult situation, difficult moment in geopolitics. And her argument that we, the Taiwanese people, can essentially be unified as a whole on the democratic consensus, and that we all want to be part of a democracy, democratic principles we all abide by, that may not be enough to really have the entire nation working together, in that there are nonetheless deep political divisions here.
Right, but William, don't you think that with the threat, which is very, very deep now from Beijing, and I'm mentioning the Communist Party Congress, which is due in a few days from now, don't you think unity will be formed out of this threat from China?
Perhaps. As with the Russia-Ukraine situation, to some extent, you never know how people will behave until the crisis comes, right?
What is the lesson from the Ukrainian invasion, the Ukrainian war with Russia here in Taiwan? It looks very much that it's very much in the mind of the people here. Is it the case?
It is certainly the case in that it took everybody by surprise, right, globally. And I think the Taiwanese, for a very long time, even today, a lot of Taiwanese basically believe that, surely Xi Jinping is not going to be so irrational. But then they see Putin can be so irrational. And then secondly, they feel pretty certain that the Americans will come and help us. But they see that, well, with Ukraine, they send them weapons, but they don't send troops. So after the war in Ukraine started, the percentage of Taiwanese who actually expect the American military to send personnel, the percentage of that, I believe, has dropped quite a bit. And so now people have much more of a consciousness of, well, maybe it will be up to ourselves. We are the ones we have been waiting.
But as for yourself, are you prepared to take the weapons to fight back if you are invaded?
Like I said, with a lot of things, you don't know what you'll really do until the crisis comes. I am too old to be drafted under the present rules, but of course there are talks of forming a territorial defense force, as sort of a civilian militia of sorts. That's in the sort of talk stage. In fact, there's a former admiral, recently retired, former Joint Chiefs, who recently published a book that is calling for this move precisely. And that's one thing about President Tsai's speech today that worries me on a practical level. Speaking of lessons from Ukraine, is that there are practical military lessons we can take from the war.
So, back to the unity. What is being Taiwanese in 2022?
Well, there are 23.
Short answer.
Right. Well, unfortunately, it's a complicated question. There are those who believe that a lot of Taiwanese believe that our ties with China, whatever they were, that enough time has passed. The time has come to sever those ties. But there are others whose families came to Taiwan from China more recently, who feel that, well, we're not quite done with those cultural, ancestral ties, those blood ties just yet. And so there's great disagreement about what it means today to be Taiwanese.
Okay. William, and thank you very much. You have just released a book in English, which is due in all bookstores anywhere in the world. Thank you very much for this insight. So this is what we have here presently for this National Day in Taipei. Paris, back to you.
Cyril Payan and William Han, writer, thank you very much.